Okay, hello, and hi there. Let's go ahead and let's play some Rayman 2, aka Rayman Revolution. In this version, we are playing on the PS2. Well, slight correction, I'm playing this on an emulator because my capture thing that I usually use for stuff with composite video was not picking up sound. I hope that's not a problem with the console because I didn't test it with anything else. But it was not picking up sound off the PS2, and that's not great. So instead, we are running this on an emulator. If something goes bad, you'll know why. Also, it might be lightly stretched because the resolution for this, according to PCSX2, which is what I'm using, is 640 by 447, which is not a perfect 4:3 aspect ratio. I don't know what the deal is with that because the PS2 usually is just a straight up 4:6. Hopefully it doesn't look too bad. It looks okay from here. If it's an issue, I will investigate. 640 by 447 is sure as hell not 16 by 9, so yeah. Either way, we can select ourselves a language. We got English, French, German, Italian, or Spanish, because maybe this is a European release of the disc, but my actual copy is like this too, and I definitely live in America. So it may just be a thing with this game, which, of course, as many of us know, is made by Ubisoft. In fact, I think this actually is one of the few games that from this era that was just not published by, well, Ubisoft is an actual dev. It's not just a publisher. I'm sure that pretty soon it's not going to be much of anything, but that's a whole other story. Let's start us a new game. I was going to say the stick doesn't seem to want to work, but it does in fact work. Can we, like, delete these? We're not going to be just limited to 6 letters on this and be forced to... Okay, so there is a way to do this. Alright, so for our name, that is the worst looking eye that I think I've ever seen. This kind of explains a lot about... well, a lot of things, actually. Let's, Dayman, I can be. That's amusing. Well, let's call ourselves... Okay, it did fix itself after a second there. What do I want to call myself here? Well, you know what? I got one. I know somebody who's probably never going to play this game. So, if you're out there watching this, Mr. Brysolf, this is for you. I'm borrowing your name because I'll probably do this much worse than you. And say, assuming I can actually fit it. Okay, I cannot fit Brysolf, so we're back to square one here, I guess. For some reason, the name Jones just crossed my mind, so that's us. We're gonna be me forgetting how to spell Jones, apparently. Impressive. I'm amazed I can even get out of bed and wipe myself without any assistance here. Jones. Perhaps Davy Jones. Our enemies are pirates. We don't need a space there. Let's validate the name. We are indeed Jones, and I'm gonna be confused as hell when I load this at some point. Let's get some story, because there's a surprising amount of story to this game for a...
Look what the pirates have done to our world. A planet of anguish and pain, haunted by evil.
Oh, you're not talking about the volume mixing, are you? You're talking about the actual setting. Because let me tell you, this quiet voice... Like, I realize that I'm talking over and just making it worse, but... Dear good gracious on a pogo stick. This is the worst. The worst. It is not the worst at all. I've heard so much worse from games even newer than this. Anyway, I'm not paying attention to this now. Which is quite a turnaround from, like, right at the beginning of this. Anyway, yeah, collect the dooley doolies, save the world. We get it. But I gotta say, this is very dark for, like, a kid's game, especially when you look at the first Rayman, which I'll probably never play because it is a absolute nightmare.
Slaves now on board, 19,000.
Oh yeah, and in the N64 version, which I'm quite familiar with, that number starts ticking up during this cutscene. Like, they're just capturing that many dudes and putting them on this ship. Well, we do see later on that this ship is pretty huge, so it kind of makes sense. Oh, look at his tiny little arms. You'd expect those things to just pop right off. Okay, at least here the crappy vocal balancing kind of works.
Rayman?
My friend! Not really. I feel weak and my powers have disappeared. You know, Glowbox, I think this might be the end.
I hope not. That'd be a really short game.
Bring good gift from Lee.
Lee? The fairy?
Plus, I think it's like a whole 4 gigs still. So, wow. It better not be the end. Oh, wait, no, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Disregard what I just said. Bullshit! Sorry. That's an outright lie. We're going to be getting some punching upgrades not too far into the game. Although, on the N64 version, which again is the one that I'm most familiar with, you do start with, you do basically start with it maxed out. Okay, voice and sound effects are tied to the oh no. Oh no, I think I've just damned myself by doing this. Yeah, left stick is working good. I gotta test this because, you know, emulator. And we punch open this grate, and we start into a little bitty sliding section. Don't worry, this first sort of level 0, as it were, there's nothing really to worry about. If you collect all the red lumps, that's nice, but they're just health. And obviously, if there's nothing else going on, we don't really need the health. But hey, we got all of them. Oh, and the blue dude is gonna cannonball us straight into the... Well, okay, that might be a bit of a stretch. For some reason, Rayman adheres to, like, reasonable-ish cartoon physics. His body parts don't go all over the place. This isn't like... We don't have to play the Rayman version of Blood Will Tell. Wow, 270 kilobytes. Ooh, no. That's a bit of a concern. This is an emulator. I don't care. Yeah, see, he just falls down all as, like, one thing, although you really couldn't see that very well.
Rayman. Glad to see that you escaped.
The cursor showing up there? It is not. Thank it. Oh, never mind. Now there it was.
And I'm here to be your guide.
That was weird.
You see that stone right next to us there?
That's some pretty slow. I'm holding the X button to speed up those subtitles, by the way. Otherwise, dear good gracious, are they slow.
And I'll quickly appear in your mind to help you. If my advice sounds confusing, come to a halt near the stone and keep the square button pressed down. I will appear and repeat the instructions.
Okay, yeah, it's just telling us about the tutorial. Brief curiosity. Okay, no, the only options at this point are sound. So in the original, on N64, there were, like, sort of goofy noise vocals instead of... Can I turn my camera, please? I'd like to be able to use the camera. Well... Okay, yeah, so the right stick is working. It's just that the camera controls are a little more butt than I'm used to. And I'm hearing, can we hit? Okay, no, it's L1 and R1, that's why. And let's zoom in and out. Yes, so excuse me, I do not remember what the controls are on this. So yeah, as we cannot shoot, which the hint just spoiled the thing for us there. To deal with those cages, we have to punch them.
You just set free a little familiar spirit. The familiar spirit are
Doesn't look very familiar to me. Da 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 da.
the place will open up for you.
Okay, gotcha. Well, this seems to have opened up a place for us already, so... Okay, yeah, that just teaches us about the camera controls. This thing is friendly despite its appearance. Like, does that thing have a butt behind its eyeballs? That's strange. And these are our collectible for the game, are the yellow lums. Well, that and the cages. You know, platformer, 90s. We've got to have a collectible. It's just the law. You have to collect a lot of a thing. Possibly a lot of multiple things. In fact, quite often, a lot of multiple things. Especially if you're Donkey Kong 64. And while we're in the air, instead of getting a double jump, we can press X to do this helicopter thing, which is pretty great. I actually favor that over a double jump, although a little extra height is never to be complained about. Also, yeah, that's a useful piece of hinting there. Hang on to walls whenever you can. That is not wrong, but it is extremely uninformative. Classic. And yeah, if you can't move a camera to a place, you'll get that little bit of a buzz noise.
That is to say, we were separated and, Now, don't worry, kiddies.
I forgot how jank this voice acting is. I mean,
But first, I've got to find Lee.
I suppose it is, you know, early 2000s. It's gonna sound awful. But, wow, I forgot just how badly done this whole thing was. Okay, so we gotta keep going this way.
Got to set her free.
And yeah, so our quest is gonna be to find find the ferry and get our powers back, I guess. And see more of these weird things. What is going on with... Okay, it's like something with, like, stripes going on here.
You see these two walls?
Camera, you're taking the worst path to show us the jump slot there.
The cross button to jump and the cross button to hang on. Repeat this maneuver until you have reached the very top.
And yes, for those of you who did not realize, the X button is apparently officially called the cross button. But here we get a little bit of wall climbing where we can jump between these two close together walls in order to climb between them. Which is, I guess, sort of a use of Rayman's weird anatomy. But more importantly, I just think that, like, this is one of the very earliest instances of this kind of wall climbing being a huge thing. Well, I mean, I guess there was a little bit in Super Mario 64, but then just thinking about how absolutely ballistic they went with it in Ratchet and Clank, and how absolutely useless it was in that game too most of the time. It was just sort of a set piece thing. Anyway, these are the teensies. They don't know who is the leader, apparently.
Come on, who's the king here, you guys?
Argue over it a little bit.
Yeah, really, it's me.
They have oddly shaped heads, kind of. It's like, it kind of looks like a beak or a gigantic nose, but it's more of a chin. Then again, we don't really see where their mouths are.
Robots in lead. Do you know where they are?
What I have to say is really dreadful.
This is like one of those, oh, who's going to volunteer? And everybody steps back sort of moments.
I've thrown Lee and Globox into prison.
Damn, they got Globox that fast? Wow. These guys are pretty good at what they do, I guess.
All is not lost. Because using the energy from the 5 bombs you picked up, we can send you to the front where the pirates are. When you're there, look for the Teensy Circle. We'll be waiting for you there with all the latest news. By the way, before being captured, we left behind a silver llama.
Oh, is this going to give me the ability to shoot? Come on. Let me get my range attack on, otherwise I'm going to be absolutely worthless. Yes, 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 yes! Yes! Oh! I thought for a second that I was going to have to go through that entire first level without that, and I was going to cry. Because that wouldn't be fun. That's for sure. Okay, good. I don't have to make a gigantic fall. Well, still a little bit of a gigantic fall. There's our buddy, the king of the teensies, the temporary king of the teensies, forming us a portal. So is this something that they can all do, or is it like bound to the crown or something, or I don't know what. Anyway, there's a lot of loading screens in this game. This, as you would expect, this is a lot worse than it is on a cartridge. Oh, hey, little kids, still,
Your favorite instructor.
well, you're the only one in this game as far... Actually, I don't think that's true.
I come to supervise your first.
There's a lot of people who give us some hints.
This baby will show you the basic movements. Start them and try to follow it.
Dude, calling
Now
a sentient creature an it? Wow. Granted, I'm probably gonna do the same thing.
to come up, press the cross button.
Yes, L2 to dive. I think having
To breathe,
your,
yourself in the air bubble.
I think having, things like that bound to camera bound on buttons that are usually camera controls is not really a smart idea. But that's just me. Also, in the earlier console versions, air was granted by blue lumps in the water. In this one, it is, things of air bubbles.
Now let's see how good you shoot.
Alright, time to
Circle in front of us.
Time to shoot.
Keep the L2 button pressed to stay in front of your target. You can shoot him while moving around him.
And again, is that not a camera? Well, I think it is always the lock-on button, but
Aim at the circle using the L2 button and shoot at him using the square button while moving around him.
You'll notice, by the way, that advice is a little jank here. Also, yeah, obviously the number there is telling us how many times we need it. Come on, Rayman. Rayman.
Now, go and find the switches in the stone circle on the other side of the bridge.
Yeah, get out of here, buddy. Okay, yeah, L2 is just the center of the camera and serves as a lock-on button. Green alums, which come complete with a very awkwardly chopped up soundbite there, are checkpoints. Let's get a look around the area. This sort of overworld, by the way, is completely new to this version of the game. I don't think any version prior to this one had it. Because, of course, this was released on basically everything with a screen once it came out because it's really, really good. This overworld is new for this version of the game, and that is how we are going to get between levels and stuff. In the N64 version, which again is the one I'm most familiar with, I don't remember what it's like in a lot of the other console versions. Okay, we got a little bit of a cutscene here. I could probably take all of these chuckleheads, but instead, this Clark guy is going to come in and beat the crap out of them for us. That Clark is an old man, but with a body of,
Hey, you come back here. I got something to tell you.
Okay, buddy. You do you. Let's get my cursor on screen again. Look at that. I think something's going wrong here. Yes. Guys, the game broke. Awesome. Cool. Great. Oh, this is gonna be a shit show. I can just reset from here, right? Maybe not. Shut down. And do a fast boot of game. That doesn't make me feel great. That I want to play through this entire game on stream, and if it's going to crash and things like that. Oh, hey, thank you for the raid, Alan. How's everybody doing? I hope you all are having a nice little evening here. Oh boy. Plastic Wife dropping the Zolgo in here, which looks even more nightmarish down in the, that thing down there. The little chat display. So now we have to redo this little swimming section, which means I'm going to be saving my ass off in this because of that.
Swimming this baby will show you the basic diagram and try to follow it. Good. Now move forward using analog stick. To dive, press the L2 button. To come up, press the claw to breathe, position yourself in the air bubbles.
Yeah, so one thing with Zolgo really is that it always will throw you off.
Now let's see how good you shoot. You see that scarecrow in front of us? Use the L2 button pressed so you can shoot him.
Alright, so let's do this again. Target. A big problem is a complete lack of any sort of targeting reticulum, so we're seeing a lot of the jank come out as a result. And I suppose I didn't really give a whole lot of background to this game, by the way, did I? I think the very earliest versions of this came out in 1998, perhaps 1999. I admit that I am not really a Rayman expert. I remember that Rayman 1 was available for the Sega Saturn, so that sounds like something that would have come out in like 97 or so. But this game is originally made by the Ubisoft Montpellier studio, I believe, and was headed off by Mr. Michel INCEL, who recently quit the video game industry, and he said that Rayman was in good hands, and that admittedly was a very worrying statement considering, okay, so that select button there was, I thought that was going to be to skip this, but it's not. You got this game for the Dreamcast recently, didn't you? Well,
Without you, the pirates would have
that's
Don't mention it, kid. Wasting pirates is good for my job.
That's pretty cool. I haven't played the Dreamcast version yet. I don't have the Dreamcast version either.
Hey,
I
you,
can't
come
imagine
back
it
here,
could-
I got something to tell you.
I can't imagine it would be too hard to get hold of. And yes, we're gonna have this issue again. So it was really smart going over here. This may end up not being a very long stream because this may I may just have this glitch all the time. And yes, I am using an emulator with this, which I said earlier in the stream, because my capture device that I'm using for composite video stuff, i.e. the PS2, is giving me some issues with sound. So yes. If this dies, I may have to just switch to something else, so this may end up being like a stealth Hollow Knight stream. I just did this game. Why are you gonna make me redo this? Come on. To get back to the story, this game, Michel INCEL, he quit the video game industry like 2 or 3 months ago, and he said that Rayman was in good hands, but considering what we've learned about Ubisoft, that was definitely cause for consternation even still, because I'm not I and neither of us were I and probably nobody in the world was convinced that there were any good hands at Ubisoft left. It then came out not long after INCEL left the video game industry that he was not only a perpetrator of abuse at Ubisoft as well, including, yes, a lot of sexual abuse, which was very big in Ubisoft culture, unfortunately. It turned out that not only was he a perpetrator, but he was one of the more prominent of such. So, you know, more like Michel INCEL, am I right? I've been sitting on that joke for like a month. I've wanted to stream this for quite a while. And it seems to be turning out that the game doesn't want to be streamed. So that makes me feel super great.
Excellent, Rayman. You're a real hotshot. Now, go and find the
You know, Lears, if only you had that kind of money is the thing, right? That's always been the real big bastard, is that you simply have not enough money to do any of the things you really want to do.
Awful. I don't want to do. The pirates made all my Minotaurus crazy. They're usually very peaceful animals, but now they eat the butt and chase away any intruders. Watch out.
Well, I mean, at least there's something there. Anyway, excuse me, that small child was warning us about a hostile creature. And now I have to navigate this area without setting off that cutscene, which apparently kills the game. But up here we've got a stone circle where we can talk to
Rayman. You found our circle. You're
this little fella.
good.
Oh, the game crashed like 6 times between then, King Teensies.
There's some rather bad
No other emulators? I don't have one on hand, so I'd have to
pirates have managed to get
pause in the middle of the stream and go get one, and or hold off until like Saturday or something.
I don't know where they've taken Loax, but I do know that Lee is in the Fairies' Claim on the other side of the bridge.
Other side of the bridge. Dang it.
The entrance to the claim near
Dang it, Bobby.
Hurry.
Dang it, Bobby. Well, we may just have to not explore that side of things until very much later. Which also means that I better know where I'm going with these camera angles, which is a bit of a pipe dream. Of course, this crash repeat crashed. Yeah, thank goodness I'm getting very, very solid frame rates on this. Like, it's staying within 0.1 of 60 frames per second constantly. Like, there's mild fluctuations, but I think that's just a general thing that it's, you know, you're not going to get a perfect thing, but yeah. You get what I'm saying. That it does its job in terms of staying as close to perfect as possible. And I dare not try running this off of a disc with the emulator, because every time I've tried that with PCSX2 and the just running something out of my own disk drive, it's just been like, frame rate, what the hell's that? So, like, playing Armored Core or something at a 10 frames per second when it's a much faster frame rate than that is not exactly a great time. The game goes slow as all hell. Well, I guess maybe it's more like slow down, but mostly I recognize the frame rate being... Use dev builds. I admit that I just grabbed what's probably an older version of it. I will have to, I'll have to look into an update for this. Oh. Well, I just rolled when I hit the ground, so that's a thing that I don't remember about how to do this. The sign says, swimming not advised, and gee, I wonder why. Look at these piranhas. We can kill them, though. Doesn't do anything for us, but you get to see their teeth explode out of their face. Which is kind of hilarious. If also very disturbing. But, you know, same thing. Well, I'm on PCSX2. I assume some of that got, like, cut out a little bit. I think I'm on version 1.5.1? I will double check here real quick. Oh, pardon me. It's 1.5.0 dev 2143, if that helps you. Oh god, I have a really old version then. This is what happens. I don't keep up to date with any of my software. 1.7. So, yeah, this is old as hell. I'd be kind of surprised if updating that did fix it, but you know, we'll figure that out in a little bit. I'll complete this level or get to the next crash, I suppose. And then I will, well, first I'll fall in the... That's right, there's stuff in the water in this level. I forgot, it's not all foggy death. Maybe he's saying catch the air bubbles. Yeah, swim into the bubble columns. So what I was saying is that I will, once I finish this level or hit the next crash, I will save the game and then I will stop recording, because I do recording and streaming at the same time. So that way I can have the recordings cut a little bit better for YouTube. And so that way people get a little less of me being like, oh yeah, thanks for coming out, and all the standard cajolery. And yes, I'll do that then, basically. Unfortunately, I've just blown the lid off of how I operate things on the YouTubes, so people will, know that they're not getting a bunch of that. They knew that this was streams anyway. I say let's stream for the video titles, and I say, I thank people for the raids and the subs and the bits and all that. Somebody donated 100 bits yesterday, and I'm still kind of pissed that my notification didn't work properly. That was weird. I could have sworn, but I like tested it a billion times. And then Streamlabs is just like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. It really amazes me just how bad all these services are for, like, streamers and stuff, and the fact that we're still duct taped quite closely to the anuses of websites like Twitch and YouTube that only half work. Anyway, they want to see Daddy again. I just want that little bit as a sound of a thing for you to hear. So, yes, to be fair, by the way, we are not going to be able to collect everything in this level. And I should be able to point to why that is in a future section of the level. Alright, Pirateman. Wow, that's some generous enemy. I just got some free health out of that, too. I was fully expecting that to be... I had no expectations whatsoever, actually. Okay, so here's the thing that I did not remember being a cause of why we cannot get everything on our first run through. Well, for a start, there's a big problem with first-person view in this, in that it only lasts as long as you hold R3. So that's some good fucking game design right there, Ubisoft. Sometimes it amazes me that this game got on so many consoles. Is that purple ring thing, in order for us to interact with it, we need a power-up that you get in this level. Unfortunately, you can't go this far backwards after you get it, because there's a lot of just drops from high up as you enter and exit segments of the level. We don't need that health. But also, wow, that's a bit involved for a singular lum. Imagine if in Banjo-Kazooie they put a thing that involved a lot of, like, just this much runaround to get one note. I would be surprised if people still liked Banjo-Kazooie after that. In fact, I'm kind of surprised that people still like it considering Rusty Bucket Bay, but there we go. I say this as someone who loves Banjo-Kazooie, by the way. So let's go ahead and let's save. And yes, as you can see, there ain't no going back. We'd have to go through the entire level again to grab that 3 yellow lums. Yeah, see, you see what I'm saying? That's a pretty big mood, Alan. Rusty Bucket Bay was kind of one of the worst, most evil level designs ever. And I know that saying that there's, you know, all kind of things out there, and even stuff that I know you've played repeatedly that has been worse. Oh, God. Sorry, I think I swallowed a bug. And yeah, I know that there's worse than that, but, like, it still kind of feels like the worst thing ever when you're there. And then you know, it stays with you. Oh, give me a second. That's multiple lines. I need to read this. I don't think I was ever able to get into those collectathon games, says Firedrake TV, which seems strange given how into classic JRPG I was. Admittedly, they can be a very acquired taste. This is the real reason, by the way, why we cannot do a one and done on this level. is because we have to have another ability to activate that pod, and we don't get it until way later in the game. It is, however, an ability tied to one of my favorite moments in the entire game, so I'll cut it some slack. And there's nothing else going on here. Except a mushroom who's... Well, from that side, it looked a little bit like it was a rusty chunk of metal with a couple of rivets and a weird bit of sheen on it, but... You know, early 2000s graphics, probably mostly cribbing from the original, but at a slightly higher res. And again, we're not exactly talking about the era of Ultra HD upgrade packs and stuff. That may have been what they could have done with it. And we get another pirate here who is going to be sniping at us. Pause real quick. One of my hands was off of the controller. And there's a whole other area over that way, I believe, which we need to do some funny stuff to get to. So they throw you into this a little bit out of nowhere because you don't really get this mechanic explained to you. But yes, you're supposed to lure the explosive shot from that pirate onto the area with the basically steel plasters on them. There's some areas that are going to have some like really, you know, look like year-old bandage kind of seals on them that we can pop open with our fists, and some with more metallic-looking plasters that can be broken open only with explosives. And we get a nice wide climbing area where we get a good idea of how good our mobility is here, as we have to dodge side to side to avoid the falling powder kegs. And yeah, just to give you a little bit of the funkiness at play with the pirates. Powder kegs that you can see for like 2 frames. Fucking laser beams. You know, I guess you shouldn't improve on perfection, right? And that's why they don't do anything with the powder kegs. But laser beams, well, those have their own uses. Are there sharks with laser beams attached to their heads? Sadly, no. There are no sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads. I don't even believe there are proper sharks in this game, unfortunately, which is quite strange because we have a shocking amount of water levels. Also, by the way, the music in this section is fantastic, so I'm sorry that it's going to get broken up probably more than once by fighting music. Or possibly disappear entirely. Anyway, yeah, here's a better look at the... Wow, that's a little too close to texture. Of these sort of metallic plasters going on here. We need to get us some high explosives to deal with. Okay, so here's going to be a panel to explain it. Grab hold of this powder keg, stand in front of it, and release the control stick. Is a terrible way to control it. But, you know, it's a terrible way to control it. That's it. There's no but you know. There's no secret bit of mad genius here. The controls in this game are gonna be the thing that kill it. And weird emulator crashes, but those don't count because normally you'd be playing this on a console. And God knows I would love to, but my hunk of shit is broken and I don't know if I have a thing that would adequately replace that. I have something that can take component in, pardon me. I have something that can take component in, but I don't think I can just do that. There might be a component cable for the PS2. There's component cables for the GameCube, both... No, I don't think that there is an OEM one necessarily, but I know there's definitely custom-made ones. There's a PS2 component cable. That is something I may just look into at some point, if it is available at a non-disgusting cost, because I would love to play more stuff on original hardware. And yeah, the net mechanic there is a little weird. I was thinking, oh, hold X like most trampolines, but you snap in and out of helicopter mode really fast, so that's not going to work for you. On the other hand, snapping in and out of helicopter mode really fast is good control. So, points where they're due. Well, okay, Lears, if there is one, I suppose after this stream I will have a look around, and future PS2 games, and I suppose future PS1 games as well, could just be operated on that. Oh, that's a pretty chunky shot this guy's got. That thing is definitely a lot more conic. Well, I'll hash out looking good ahead of... I'll hash out looking good after I discern if it functions, you know? Because I'm kind of used to looking a little crusty, and, you know, my voice isn't necessarily the greatest thing in the world, so something should sound good when you're watching the stream, at least. And I believe this is the way we wanted to go. Yes, I think that looks like it, given that we just had a little cutscene transition there. And sadly, we get that... And sadly, we lose that really great pirate ship mission music. So, this room has got a lot of stuff in it for us to pick up, I believe? And you can see that our target is down here. And this texture does look a little bit like acid, but it is actually quite safe. I wasn't 100% sure. I admit that I just landed on that grass texture like, oh, this will absolutely not be acid. And then I could have just fallen into it and it was acid, and I would have looked like a complete buffoon. And maybe... in fact, hopefully, someone would have laughed at me. Yes, we know what we have to do, Lee, but first, I have to make sure that I got all of these collectibles. At least on this side of the room. And there's that help sound effect, which is making me think there's a cage somewhere. I mean, aside from the one that's hanging up at the top of the level, or top of the level, top of the room, rather, that is just sort of a background object. Background object in an era where, background layers don't exist. Yeah, that tall one. Oh, well, the one I'm looking for is right here on the floor. Easy. Right. So, finding the machine is barely an objective. It's right over here. And we get a bit of a puzzle that kind of fooled me a little bit when I was younger. I'm not really proud of that. So, we gotta throw these powder kegs at the targets at the back of the machine here. And you might be thinking, oh, that's quite simple. How could you fuck this up when you were younger? Well, you'll see in just a second that there is another little bit more to it. And in fact, you can hear it coming this way now. And you didn't get a chance to see it because I forgot how to control the camera. So, while we're doing this, the machine is going to start shooting these little propeller bombs at us. And if you're holding the powder keg while when it hits you, you drop it. And we fucked that up. Great. So, to deal with it, you press X to throw the keg into the air. And don't move, but press square to shoot and pick the keg back up when it falls back into your hands. Gonna be honest, I don't know how this managed to screw me up even when I was young. And bad at... Well, okay, that's fucking me up now that I'm old. That's always a good time. I'm gonna check this little area over here to make sure that there isn't, like, a cage or anything we can pick up, by the way. Just because I'm in the area. Well, I hear a soundbite for it, so... There we go. Rayman is so proud of that one that he stops to go, yeah, in the middle of the level. You know what? I can appreciate that. He's celebrating your accomplishments too. He's a very positive dude. Old Rayman. So I think we're going to want to get, like, just as close as possible, basically, to get this middle target. Unless the game is being that up its own boot hole about hit the right target or don't get hit by the thing while the keg is flying. That would just be rude. If that's what it is, I'm going to be really, really sad at this game. Because, come on, that's just overkill. And get over there. Yes, because you can tell that the thrown kegs do have a bit of a homing effect, which is completely ridiculous, but is very much appreciated because otherwise, imagine trying to aim precisely on a game this old, and now imagine trying to aim precisely on a game even older because I originally played this on the N64. However, I have since played the PS2 version a lot more, and I consider it to generally be much better. Okay, hit it. That's right. There you go, Rayman. You show him that eagle eye. Although, judging by that performance, it's more of a pigeon eye. But I digress.
Lee, are you okay?
Oh, Rayman, at last. I was afraid glow dogs had failed.
He gave me the silver lung, but we got separated.
And no, despite the color scheme going on here, I'm pretty sure that she's not supposed to be naked.
But to do that, I
But,
need all of my power.
yeah, that is quite questionable to have her in what's basically a skin color bodysuit
Too weak to give you back
with
my powers.
weird purple patterns all over it.
Throw the primordial energy core into 1,000 levels.
Yes, we've heard about that.
It's become very difficult. But there may be another solution.
Duct tape!
Have you ever heard of Polygus?
No.
He's the spirit of the world
Oh, okay, so we gotta go talk to God. Gotcha.
Unfortunately, he's been sleeping for many years. But there is a legend which says he could be awakened if you reunite the four masks.
The four masks?
Oh boy, we have a new quest.
Magical,
This,
very powerful.
the direction we have to go in keeps changing.
Mysterious places. Find them, Rayman. It's our only hope. I'll help you by giving you all the energy I've gathered.
Hooray, we're gonna get our health back. No, we're gonna get an actual power out of this, don't worry.
Good luck, Rayman. Now you can grab onto the purple hole.
Now we can replay the level to go get 3 collectibles. Good old 90s game design, huh? Think there are people who actually like retro gaming. No, I actually do really love old games, even if I just make fun of stuff like this a lot. I do enjoy a lot of older games. And okay, yeah, there's nowhere else to go except up. Just do our little jump slot thing. And I could have sworn there was another thing to collect up there, but no. And we jump off and we go onto these very hexagonal pipes. They are much more jagged on earlier consoles, though. I hope it's not on that little pipe, because that take a lot to hide it, and also I can't get back up there. And yes, I do intend to get everything in this game, by the way, as I inevitably play through it. Again, assuming that there isn't, like, an issue that is going to cause this playthrough to cease until I get another cable or something. Which, honestly, even then, even if that is how it goes, I will definitely 100% this whenever I actually get to playing it. I forget if it's necessary to collect everything in order to get, like, a different ending or something, or possibly even to actually fight the final boss. But yes, we will find that out when we actually get there. Okay, so I think we're good for this room. We got the cage. I hear something in there freaking around.
You see these air currents, Rayman? Activate your helicopter in them, and you'll fly.
Well, fly is a bit of a stretch, but you do gain some height from these updrafts, so okay, I guess. We still don't exactly have the type of control that would make me call it true flight. You know, it's kind of like a helicopter, but less controllable. And yes, we get some like automatic camera rotations here that make things quite difficult at times. And I don't know why my voice went like that. I got hit by something that I didn't see. And yeah, the music is definitely just going a little ape shit there. Oh, I see what's going on. There's a paratrooper there of some description. Sensei has come back from my childhood playthroughs of Advance Wars to be like, hey, yeah, you shouldn't have underestimated me, sucker. When I was a kid, the closest thing to a balanced character I played in Advance Wars was Hawk. Then again, that series has never really understood what balance is. I need my things. Give me the things. Yeah, that's right. They gave me the things. Die happy now. No one can die happy in this world. Let's not even kid ourselves. Because to die happy, you'd have to be happy in the first place. Also, apparently we just one-shot some dude. However, killing enemies does not count towards your completion totals for a level, so I don't care. Where is my mind as that guy from the Pinksies, yes. The Pixies sang.
Rayman, listen carefully. The pirates have captured loads of teensies. Free
Nice
them.
hat. Nice hat.
Each time you free one, he will take you to a teensy circle. From this circle, you can return to a world you have already visited by going
Oh, well, that's
through a
helpful.
magic spiral door.
Oh, we do some silly dancing at the end of every level. I seem to recall that being a little bit longer in previous versions. I could be just imagining it though, and perhaps we may see longer yet. And at the end of every level, it shows us how many of these things we do or did not collect. And we are denied access to a bonus level that is completely useless. So, whatever. There's no score to worry about. It really just gives you a way to get your health back, which... A thing that I haven't been able to show you yet is that if you run out of health, you just get kicked back to the start of the room you were in. Well, room, subsection of the level, whatever you want to call it. Alright, so let's do one more save real quick. 48 minutes into the game. However, let's take a quick look at OBS here. And I've been recording for a little over an hour. And streaming for a little more than that. So I'm going to cut the recording here for just a moment.